think we're live. It's not. Oh, there we go. It doesn't tell me anymore. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Monday night's edition of Paranormal Question Day. We're right back right after a short intro. And we are back. So tonight we have a very, very awesome team in the paranormal field that I have yet to have on my show, and tonight we got them on. So tonight we have Twisted Paranormal Society. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, Darren.
Anytime. We got Mr. Lyle Lots here, and down below us we have Brandon Johnson. And Tana, she's a little bit under the weather, but she is also part of their team as well, which is Lyle's wife. So, so hopefully she gets better soon and gets over the bug, and we all know how that gets.
Oh yeah, it's been a weekend around here. I can tell you that.
Oh, I bet. And Brandon actually just got back from Gettysburg, which is Taryn's favorite place.
Yeah, we were up there doing an event at the Gettysburg Academy. That place is a little hidden gem in the city of ghosts.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a gem, that's for sure. No doubt. It was a blast the whole time.
Absolutely. So let's get started. I got a question to start out with. Why not? It's the question of the day.
Do it.
So, what was each of yours first paranormal experience, and where did it happen?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Actually, I'm sharing this out to everywhere, so you go ahead, Mr. Lyle. If I'm looking down, I'm sharing this thing out there. So,
well, for me, it wasn't anything about an experience that really got me into this field. I know a lot of people have that, and it keeps them going and stuff. To me, it was just the fascination of, Tana and I would just sit and watch the shows. Back in the day, we were watching Paranormal State. We were watching Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. Those seemed to be the three popular ones at the time when we started. And, we just sat and watched and just got so drawn into it. It was like, what would it be like to actually try this? Is it for real?
Right.
And so, it was actually my sister-in-law had a guy that worked for them, and he was getting ready to do a Halloween type event thing just about 10 miles from us here. And she says, hey, I'll call him, let you guys see if he'll let you guys come out. We went out there. We had a blast, even though it was only like a couple hours. It was pouring down rain, but it was in this old abandoned house. And from that point on, it was like we were hooked. And, Tana, if she was here, she would tell you back in her day that, her mom was into parapsychology. So she kind of grew up with this. And, but for me, it really wasn't that way. It was all of a fascination. And that fascination now has grown into since 2011, so almost 12 years. Wow. And since we started Twisted Paranormal Society, just with some friends and family. And over the years, we've grown from 6 people to 15, 16 people, down to now our core 4 people. The one person that's not in this is Missy, Melissa Sykes. And but it's Melissa Sykes, it's myself, it's Brandon and Tana, of course, that are the Twisted Paranormal Society. So, Twisted Paranormal Society does some things a little different than what Tana, myself, and Brandon do when it comes to hometown haunts. So, we have 2 different entities really that we play with in this. So, and of course, with the big thing that just came out was hometown haunts. So,
right.
Mr. Eslock, what's up, my brother? That's part of my Twisted Realm crew.
Hey, Dennis.
What's up, my friend?
A great friend, great brother, and we appreciate everything he's done for us over the years. That's for sure.
That's right. And he actually he's the booker of the Cabin 360, correct?
Yes, he is. Yes,
sure
he is. The man knows his stuff. That's for sure.
True that.
We love him.
Every once in a while, I get on Facebook and I see him talking about the building and everything that's going on, and giving like a little seminar type deal, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And actually, stuff that's actually happening as much as he's talking. Stuff is going on in the background.
Well,
Oh
it
yeah, no doubt.
trust me. We know the cabin very well.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
very well.
Yeah, I haven't been out east yet. It's just at time I'll get out there. Our team is still new, so
Mhm.
there's plenty of years to go.
Well,
out
if you
there.
get out to Virginia, that's a great place. We definitely support the cabin on 360. Back in the day when we first did it, was the 360 houses, and we did we filmed a Twisted Realm episode there, and it's still one of the hot episodes on Paraflix right now to be an episode from 2016, back in the early Green days, man. It was like it's still riding high on Paraflix. So just a great place.
Well over a year.
Yep.
Absolutely. And Dennis is saying he's being humbled with all the comments, and absolutely, Dennis,
Absolutely.
you're
Dennis is a humble
awesome person to watch, and
he's
I
just
like
don't
watching
ride.
him.
Yeah, just don't ride all the way to Ohio with him.
We made it from Virginia to Ohio in like 2 hours. That was pretty impressive.
Jeez.
The seat of your pants, holding on for dear life, old shit handle.
Oh, we love you, brother.
So Brandon, what was your first paranormal experience, and where was that at?
Sure. So mine is what I consider my best paranormal experience. When I was 10 years old, I was on a bowling league. I was on it for many years, and see Dennis's comment. Especially in the backseat. So when I was 10, I was on a bowling league, and we went to a hotel called the Chamberlain in Hampton, Virginia, and it has since become a retirement community for retired military. And it's an old hotel on the foundation of old Fort Monroe, which is where Jefferson Davis was captured at. Well, he was captured, then he was sent to Fort Monroe for imprisonment after the Civil War. And it was old. It actually has a 13th floor. So that's how it tells you. They acknowledge it. So that's how old it was.
There's Melissa.
Long story short, what's up, Missy?
Hey,
long story short, we were a bunch of kids on the elevator. We got off the elevator, and next thing I know, I see a man, a boy, with a bowl haircut like Mo from the Three Stooges, black overalls, white puffy sleeves. The image is burned in my brain. I've told this story a lot, and it's never changed. There's one thing you can say. If you ever watch me tell this story, it's never changed.
It's never changed.
And he was reading a book, and he looks up at us, and next thing you know, he gets up, and he's just there, and then we look down, look back up, and he's gone. And he would have had to walk by us to get out of our line of sight, and he just disappeared. And later on that night, we actually we found a little cannon that was in our room that wasn't there, previously. It was just appeared. And I still have that cannon. And matter of fact, I'm gonna start taking it with me when we do our events and filmings. I'm gonna take it with me. I don't know if it's a gift or what it is, but ever since then, I've been kind of chasing what I saw. And I'll be 33 this year, and that was when I was 10 years old.
Stop it! You're making me feel old.
I know.
It's crazy.
I feel a lot older than what I really am, but I've been kind of chasing that ever since. So my first paranormal encounter became my paranormal journey kickoff, more or less.
Interesting.
Absolutely. The story never gets old.
No, I mean, and
never gets
the
old.
one thing about it that I will never understand is, I can't remember a lot of things from my childhood. I just can't. There's some things, some memories I have that are locked in my brain. There's some things that I have that are sacred, but that has never left my brain. So something had to have happened, even if, let's just say part of it didn't happen. Something had to happen to make that stick in my head for all these years. And that's kind of what I've been chasing ever since.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And, I always like to say is that we're all in it for the same thing, but we're in different directions on how we achieve what we're looking for.
What's up, Dan?
What's up, Dan?
Porter.
Bill, Melissa, Denise, Collins World, Nathaniel Henning, Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Nice to meet you all. Bill
Hey,
Walker.
Bill. Bill is having a Paracon this month on the 22nd. It's
Oh,
called
wow.
Spirits in the Spring at Broadhead Manor.
Oh, nice.
Ah,
Yeah, I saw that. That's nice.
seen a lot of cool stuff from Broadhead
Mhm.
Manor.
Yeah.
Looks like a cool joint.
Yes.
It's an awesome place. You guys will really have fun with that. I mean, 3 levels, 60,000 square feet.
Wow.
Sounds
So
like a
where's
road
this?
trip.
So where's it located?
Broadhead, Wisconsin, which is like
Wow.
45
Okay.
minutes, give or take an hour from Illinois border by
Nice.
Janesville.
Nice.
So, hey,
Time for a
Lori.
road trip.
Road trip, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never ending content. Let me tell you, you'll have to go back like 3 or 4 times, and you'll just keep coming back more and more.
I agree,
So,
brother.
and then Lori, she's the curator for the Washara County Historical Museum, is where I do the bookings for. So,
Wow. Nice.
it's another great
So,
location. Same, it's a
Wishara County, is that Egg territory?
yes, it is.
Thought so. I thought
Mm.
Wishara sounded pretty familiar.
Yep. It's we got a lot of stuff that goes on in the building, but we'll talk about that another day. This is all
Okay.
about you guys here, so
That could be
so
a nice adventure for hometown hunts though.
Yeah.
yeah, it would be.
Come out
It would
and
be.
let you guys tell the story for us.
Uh
Man. Uh-oh.
well, it's a museum. It's a slash house slash jail, 2-story jail,
Okay.
and it's right next to a courthouse. And they've had quite a few prisoners in there. And Dean is the well-known person of the jailer there, but there's other
Okay.
spirits
Yeah.
there as well. We got kid spirits. We got. See, I
Wow.
don't like
Nice.
to
Yeah.
say a whole lot about
Of
Dean,
course.
but
Sure.
Totally.
we feel his spirit is there along with his mother.
Sure.
But others may feel differently. But that's one of the hot spots. We got a doctor spirit, but it's a whole host of a lot of spirits, and it
Nice.
can be brutal sometimes for women in a jailhouse area. So basically, when we have women in the jail area, we have a male with them just
Sure.
for that reason.
Smart.
So one likes to shove ladies down the stairs, and
That's not cool.
yeah, and that's a German soldier.
Hmm.
Oh, there she goes.
There
World
she
War
is.
II prisoners.
Wow.
So she can give you more of the story of the place itself, and she's a lot better than I am. So, but that's the house and jail in a shoot. So,
Cool deal, man. Cool deal.
so let's talk about and we got this. Oh, there we go.
Hey, there she is.
There's Darren.
Can you
What up?
see me? There's
Yes.
some,
Yep,
there's a
yeah, we
We
can
can
see
see
you.
you.
there's a glitch in my matrix because because
We are
no-
making contact with you, so we are good.
awesome. How are you guys? Sorry, I don't know what is going on.
That's
good.
good.
You're good.
Okay, so this is Twisted Paranormal Society. We got Lyle below you over here, and we got Brandon Johnson over here,
Hello.
So-
and then Tana
No, I
is
know.
Lyle's wife.
No, I know what's going on, and I
Oh,
know
okay.
it's here. But I meant to say on my end of things,
You
I
sound
couldn't-
good.
like for the longest time, all I saw were a bunch of question marks and a black screens, and like I don't even know what was going on. Anyways, enough about me. Enough about me.
What up? What up?
We getting a whole new group of people in tonight, which I love it.
Yeah, that's all.
And Bill says, "Good evening, sunshine." So, so let's talk about your group, Twisted Paranormal Society, and how it became the group.
Take it away, Lyle.
Wow. Twisted Paranormal Society, man. We started back in, I want to say it was 2011. It was June. And we had started looking at a local team in the area, and they were full. So the guy kind of mentored myself and Tana a little bit and helped us get ourselves started. Like I said earlier, it was like we started with just some friends and family. And within a year, we had grown from like 6 people up to 12, up to 15, and then kind of started weeding that thing back down because that was just too much to control. And then finally, I would say, what do you say, Brandon? 2017 timeframe, we really started kicking it down a little bit. By 2019, we were down to 6 people, and then now we're down to a core 4. So,
Yeah, and you don't really need that much more.
no. Oh, you find that out, yeah.
You know, you just need solid people. That's it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Solid
That's for
people,
sure.
passionate people, and people that are in it for the right reasons. You know,
No doubt.
and don't forget where they come from. Which, Brandon, I got to say really quick, love all your Gettysburg stuff.
He just came back from Gettysburg.
Yeah, we just came
I
back.
know. He
Yeah,
probably
we were-
thinks I'm a stalker because every time, you know,
It's my paranormal happy place. But yeah,
Yeah.
we were there. All of us were at the Gettysburg Academy, which if you get a chance, give it a stay. The place is beautiful, historic. To walk the same halls as Tilly Pierce and
yeah,
all the kids that were there was amazing. But when it comes to Gettysburg, I don't necessarily believe in past lives. That's not really my vibe, but I do believe that something has drawn me there since I was a kid, and it's just been fascinating. Like, we're in the Shenandoah Valley, myself, Lyle, Ton, all of us, we're in the Shenandoah Valley. It's worse. You can't throw a stone and not hit a Civil War spot.
yeah.
We're surrounded by like Newmarket, there's Richmond, Bethesda Church, all those places are around us. But it was always Gettysburg that really got me interested in book after book, documentary after documentary. It's just like that place is just, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, I know. I have the coordinates tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I have my house. I have a Gettysburg room, and it's all Gettysburg. I want to live there. And Brandon, I feel the same. I always said if there is such a thing as past lives, I've lived there every single one.
Oh yeah.
Something there, and I grudgingly went the first time. I didn't care about history, and I was afraid of ghosts. So I wanted nothing to do with it, but I went because my mom made me. And
Good old mom.
the best thing that ever happened to me ever in my entire life. So
That was kind of like my first trip there. I didn't know it was a trip. And my parents were like, we're going to go somewhere. We're just going to go have a good weekend. I had no idea where we were going. And when they told me Gettysburg, it was like you told me Disney World. Ecstatic I was.
yeah,
was cool.
not me. I was like, what's in Gettysburg? I don't even know about Gettysburg. I was
Well,
like,
Gettysburg is Disney World for some people.
It is.
Yeah,
It's the Mecca.
it is.
Paranormal Mecca.
That's a whole nother. It's the heartbeat of our nation. First of all, I'm a very patriotic person, and love our military, and at past, present, and future. So there's that aspect of it too. Plus the historical side of things, and then you add on the paranormal stuff. And it's just, it's like somebody like me with passion for all three things to have it all in one place.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sure that.
It's definitely become our home away from home here lately. That's for sure. It
How
seems
far
like we've
away
been
are
up there a
you guys?
lot.
How far away are you from here?
About
3 hours.
a little
2.5,
less
3
than
hours.
3, around 250.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 2.5.
Or if
2
we
minutes.
really want to get there, and we really, really want to get there, we'll get there in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
If we really want to get there and beat the traffic.
Yeah,
I don't want to even think about the hours how far away I am.
Mhm.
I've
Hey,
gone
where the-
there. I've gone there and stayed there by myself for like 10 days. Right.
Wow, nice.
And it was the best 10 days of my life. Like, it was just great. And not saying, I met up with people here and there, and you know what I mean? But to just get on foot and walk around and do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And I did go. I went to Antietam because it was close. I took it a little, but I couldn't wait to get back to Gettysburg. It was cool. Antietam was cool. And then Harper's
Nothing like
Ferry.
the Berg. Nothing like the Berg.
Yeah, there isn't. Sorry, I digress. We start talking about Gettysburg.
No, you're good. You're
That's
good.
okay. Heck, we're
that's
heading
right.
back up there again. What, next weekend?
Yeah,
Or 2
we'll be
weeks.
in Hanover in about
On the 14th
next
and
weekend.
15th. Yeah.
So we'll be near there.
Interesting.
So I apologize. So you guys go ahead
No,
with
you're good.
your.
No, you're good. Thank you.
So, well, they just talked about the team and how things got together. So, Lyle's actually hit on it twice, but anyhow, we'll move on. So what's the most favorite place or location you guys have been to? Can't say Gettysburg because you just said Gettysburg.
That's becoming the
Gettysburg's
spot we
in
were
the
at
jungle.
this. Yeah, the spot that we were at this past weekend. That could be very close to getting up there.
Yeah,
The way
it's
things were.
definitely-
But for me, I want to say it's two places. Basically, I call them both our home locations. The Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, and then basically back down at St. Albans. Um,
I
those
really
are
want to
two
get
of
there.
our. Those are two of my favorite spots. I mean, of course, I don't want to leave Dennis out either because we've been to the cabin on 360 a lot, and because it's a big support, we like to support him.
Yeah, true that. True
So,
that.
so
Absolutely.
it's a few spots for me.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the same. I know. For myself, it's St. Albans is it's always number one or number two. It bounces back and forth. For me, I mean, if we're gonna leave Gettysburg as its own separate thing,
It has
that's
to be.
its own list. But for me, it's like St. Albans, and I love the cabin 360. I love Dunlore Inn. It's right down the road from us, in
Yep.
Mineral, Virginia.
Laura.
Octagon Mansion in Whitfield, Virginia is a really cool place. We've been there multiple times. We filmed an episode there, which is going to be our next episode of The Realm.
Okay.
So,
I'll
no,
be
we're
there. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going April 28th.
Octagon Mansion.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
because they
Yes.
asked me if I wanted to do a live show there. I said, yeah,
Hey,
I would
that's
love
sweet.
it.
Well,
that's
that'd be
right
cool.
down the
Definitely.
road from us. That's a cool place.
Yeah,
John
well,
Bushman.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be there. It'll be me and my boyfriend are going. Bring my boyfriend with me because it's such a far drive.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like 7 hours for me. So, but I'm investigating afterwards. So if you guys want to stop by,
It's sweet. I wish we were closer. I mean, it's about 2 hours and 15.
About the same
2.5.
distance to Gettysburg, give or
Yeah,
take.
for us,
that's not bad.
it is.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll tell you what, if I was at Shanley on the 25th, I saw the Gettysburg Academy thing, and if I wasn't already going to Shanley, that's where I would have been. So
We'll be back. We'll definitely be back there. I mean, that's a cool place. But I think if we're branching outside of our local ones, I mean, I've been to Waverly. That's a really cool place. Hot as hell. The Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast was really cool.
Expensive as hell.
Very.
Did you have anything happen there?
No, but that was just me. I'm lying. We had a really cool Ouija board session we did upstairs, and wasn't a part of it. I was more or less watching it. Had a really cool spirit box session where Abby was found. We had a lot of K2 activity in the main room, but just to be there was worth it, just 100%. I've seen people have some great evidence there. You know, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. But that was really cool. But I think one big one, I know Lyle's been there too, is Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia. That's an awesome
Fort
place.
Mifflin is cool.
Yeah.
That's one of Carmen's favorite spots as well.
Just don't go after it rains because you'll sink 5 feet into the grass.
Or the mosquitoes.
The history there is just you stand in the center and you just can't believe that many like all the history. You just stand there and it's hard to wrap your brain around it.
It is.
That's
I know one of my spots too outside of Virginia would be. We did it last year as an event with the Chasers. Went all the way out to Mopen and did that. So that was an awesome location to do if you haven't been to Missouri State Pen before.
nope.
No, I live on the East Coast bubble. Unfortunately, I lived in Ohio for 3 years prior to being in the paranormal.
Oh, OSR, man.
And had no idea of all these awesome paranormal spots in Ohio.
Actually, one of our followers has a castle in Ohio.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. He keeps saying it's haunted. Come on out.
Yeah, I mean, castle.
Yes.
Well, I know, like last year, Lyle, myself, Dennis, like we've joked about, and a bunch of different teams went to OSR for the first time. Well, I think it was our first time, definitely. And I will say, hands down, the hospitality that OSR gives you is just phenomenal. Like, here's the location, here's your pizza, here's your drinks, have a good night. And we didn't see them at all the rest
That's
of the night.
awesome.
And OSR was like ours. And I'm looking around like, wait, you mean we can go anywhere? And
That is so cool. I love that.
all right.
I love
So is
that.
OSR a battleship?
It's the Ohio State
State
Reformatory.
Reformatory.
Yeah,
Oh,
where
okay.
they filmed Shawshank and Air Force One and different stuff.
Okay. I guess I never heard it called OSR. That's why.
No, I lived there for 3 years and hated it. That I just had no I had no recollection of anything cool.
Yeah.
Except Put-in Bay. It's an island of bars. That's it. That's where I went.
I know the little town that we stayed in. I can't remember. You remember, Brandon? I can't remember the name of it.
Athens, Athene. All right,
No, it was
Dennis. Where did we
Dennis,
stay? I know you're in the chat.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't all.
Yeah,
Well-
we went to go eat there downtown there, and they came up and were like, "What are you guys here for?" You know, and so the story starts. You know, we're here doing this, we're here doing that. You know, we're paranormal investigators, this and that, and Ashland, that's what it was. So, needless to say, the owners of that particular pizza place, they had an Irish bar. And they said, "Oh, we're having paranormal activity in this Irish bar. Would you guys like to come check it out?" And it's like, wow. Okay. It was a great weekend.
cool.
So we went to check out an Irish pub. Dennis communicated with some of the spirits in there and confirmed some things with them. And we just had a blast, and they're ready for us to come back to do it again.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, I see Dan the Man, Supernatural Lost Adventures. That fool had a Airbnb right across the street. So
Wow.
lucky man on that one.
Wow, that's all. Yeah, I lived in. So I know, and then there was like a group this past weekend that I saw was in Fremont, Ohio, and I go, I lived in Fremont. Like this was like just a boot in the town. Like you know, it was nothing. It was like this little crap town, and I'm like, really? Like what, the only thing I knew was Rutherford B. Hayes' house was there. Right, it's in the same town, and Charles Woodson is from there. That's it.
oh,
The football player?
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
The old Raider.
No, but you know, and oh my gosh, I'm like now I see all these cool things in Ohio, and I'm like,
Isn't Cooperstown also in Ohio? The Baseball Hall of Fame?
I think that's
Yes.
New York.
I think this
I
is New
went
York.
to.
Is it New York?
I think it's
I
New
did
York.
go
Yeah.
to.
Cooperstown. I think
There's
it's
something in Cleveland. That's
Oh,
maybe
what about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Rock and
is
Roll
it?
Hall of Fame's Cleveland.
That's
Rock
Is
and
it?
Roll Hall of
Okay,
Fame.
that's where I went.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
Cool. Thanks.
So, where do you live at, Brandon? You live in Pennsylvania?
No, we both live in Fishersville, Virginia. Actually,
So you
Lyle's.
live in Virginia.
If
Okay.
Lyle's actually in that general direction, about I don't know,
He's
less than
that
a mile
way.
away.
Yeah.
We live like really close to each other.
Virginia always seems like it's as close as Delaware, but it's always as far as like Arizona.
It's a big state.
What it feels like.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to people in Virginia, like there's you think that they're all close, but they're all no, I'm like 6 hours from that. I'm like, what?
It's like
Iowa
West
feels the
Virginia.
same
You don't
way.
know how big that state. Virginia and West Virginia are big states, even though it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Lengthwise, yeah, I
Right.
would say.
Well,
It's kind of like Kentucky.
Unfortunately for Lyle, the lengthwise from his house to my house is less than a mile. So sorry, buddy.
Feel the love, right?
So how,
Feel the
so
love.
how often do you get to go on the East Coast, West Coast? Like, what's like the coolest place? Do we already talk about this? Like the coolest place?
Yeah, it's we've been, pretty much here on the East Coast doing a lot of stuff. And I mean, branching out in Pennsylvania, that was kind of big for us, really, because we focused a lot in Virginia. I'm trying to think, Brandon, did we step outside of there? I don't think we had.
We did the Hoover House in Waynesboro, PA.
In Waynesboro, PA.
We did that
with
one.
Stephen Panberry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
we were gonna do the Heyman House, but that was midst of COVID, and that we had restrictions on that one.
yeah.
Isn't it like the
PA's
Octagon
been-
House you do a lot?
What's that?
The Octagon House? Do you do that a lot?
Oh, well, I mean, we pretty much when we do our events, a lot of times we co-partner with John, who owns the Octagon Mansion, and do Dinner with a Ghost.
Okay.
That's Dinner with the Ghost is based out of the Octagon Mansion. And
I'm looking forward to that. That sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, just the museum part of it. It sounds so awesome.
I mean,
Be sure
I've
to
been
go in the basement.
Yeah, I've had this particular Twisted Realm episode in the tank for almost 2 years trying to work on it, because every time you turn around, it's like, okay, we got this new thing, we got this we've been doing, LMB doing this or whatever. And it just kept getting pushed back and back. And I was like, nope, not now. It's like,
Busy
okay,
people.
it's getting done. And, it's kind of like, it's going back 2 years of our style of filming. But hey, everybody likes a little bit of green stuff every now and then. So,
Yeah.
No, but I think you guys do good social media wise. I mean, Brandon, your videos get a lot of.
We'll go green right now. There you go. We'll go green.
there you go, go green.
You guys are solid people. You know what I mean? Like you guys are.
Thank you.
I like watching your
Good.
guys'
Well,
videos.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
There's
I'm catching up.
There's no dramatization of it. It's you guys are really doing your thing. And that's what I like to watch. It's refreshing.
We've been lucky to be involved with some really amazing locations, and we've had the honor to investigate and film with some really cool people. I know if you watch our latest episode that aired Saturday of it's called The Connection for Hometown Haunts, where we filmed at St. Albans, you're going to see footage in there that we actually filmed back in 2019, because we filmed a full weekend shoot at St. Albans. And nothing really came of it because we were in the middle of switching networks at the time, and it kind of fell by the wayside. New projects came open, and I told Lyle, and we did a live video Saturday talking about it. I told him, I was like, man, to see this footage come to life that we filmed all these years ago, and we had reenactor, it was volunteers, but we were doing a recreation telling the story of the resident spirit Rebecca, and to see it come to life, because I've never seen it put together before. I've only seen it when we filmed it, and it'll make you cry. It's very intense, and to see it come full circle now in 2023 was pretty amazing.
That's cool. I love when stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
Even if things are stagnant for a little bit, and then you just get that one really good. I mean, it could be as little as EVP, or it could be as big as validation of something that you found, whatever. It makes it worth it.
And I'll tell you what, that particular episode there, boy, it from the time we started. Hey, Lacey, how you doing there, honey? From the time we only spent 3 hours in St. Albans.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I saw Lacey's stuff there. We only spent like 3 hours there in St. Albans, and we did our full interview with with Lisa Kinsey, who was our person we were working with there. And then we spent maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of investigating. And I'm going to tell you, the stuff that came in that hour to 2 hours was like crazy. I mean, we've spent hours in St. Albans and never got anything. But that night, it's like we were focused on the subject.
Yeah.
And that subject came to life. And I was like, wow, the things that happened.
Yeah.
It's a big vicious circle. It really is. I mean, because you see, it's the situation that we were filming in 2019 that affected Tana, and that story was featured on Destination Fear with Tana and Lyle being on Destination Fear. And then here we are, we're completing the circle in 23 when we're sitting down and we're like, we're going to do an episode on Rebecca, which is, you don't see that very often. You don't see a backstory on a resident spirit in a big haunted location. You narrow down to just, we're going to focus on this one person and tell her story, because it's a pretty sad story. And you kind of look at things different, because usually in a haunted location with a spirit, there's one story. Well, this person did this, and this is the reason why they're haunting this, or this is how they died. Well, a lot of times there's 2 or 3 different stories that we don't even know about. And so to be able to hear some of these other theories of what may have happened to her was like really enlightening, We
went in there with one thought and we came out with another thought.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
Something we'd never even heard about, and we worked it that way, and it was just so freaking awesome to to put it together. I mean, Lisa did an awesome job. Of course, Lisa's the one that portrayed Rebecca in our in the recreations and all too, because she's done that on in feature films.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just an all around great thing, and that's why we love Hometown Haunts. I mean, we want to focus on so many different things that, you know, we know as paranormal investigators, we want to find that haunted location, you know, so we're used to doing that. Well, we said, what can we do to challenge ourselves? And so our first episode, if you haven't watched our first episode, we went in search of Bigfoot, and we had the local, one of the biggest people here in Virginia, take us on a Bigfoot expedition. And I mean, that was basically from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until about 10 o'clock at night. We filmed him. Then we drove out to the woods, spent hours in the woods, and had an awesome adventure.
Was that the first time you guys ever?
Oh,
Bigfoot
yes.
hunted?
Yes. And we, you know, we're paranormal investigators. We're not.
Oh, I know. I've only gone once. I've gone one time Bigfoot hunting, and
it was the craziest thing. I think, you know, I don't like the woods at night anyway. And so it was rough. Tana had a hard time. Brandon, he had his butt cheeks puckered a lot. So
I'm not gonna lie, there was times. Yeah, there was times.
But no, it was an awesome adventure. That if you get a chance, check that episode out. I think we've got 2 great starts of episodes to Hometown Haunts, and we're getting ready to start hitting some legend work. And,
awesome. So Jamie has a question. I'm curious to know how they decided to air on Paraflix.
Oh, good question. Well, you were going to ask that question, weren't you, Darren?
Getting there, yeah.
I know we had talked a little bit about it beforehand before we started, but you know, the Twisted Realm, we were actually a part of another streaming series. At one time, it was called Video Space, and then it changed to Quasum. We kind of lost focus with that, and at the time, Paraflix was this thing that we were seeing getting promoted, getting talked about. It hadn't started, and I think it was New Year's Eve. We were all sitting here at the house here. We were having our New Year's Eve get together, and I said, "What if I send them a promo of one of our episodes? See what they do." Send a promo. 10 minutes later, we're getting a response back from their head people. It's like, "Hey, let's set up a talk. Let's get together. Let's meet Tuesday, have a communication thing." So we did. And from that point on, of course, we're part of the OG crowd there at Paraflix now. We've been there since they started in March of 2021. And couldn't be any more happier. Those people, they're great people to promote with. And I just feel like we're getting a lot of good attention with it. And that's, you know, if you don't have a subscription to Paraflix, go check it out. You got a lot of great content on there, you know, and these are people that do really good work. And, you know, some of that this stuff it could be Discovery Plus stuff. It could be travel stuff. It's just, these are people that haven't reached that level. And, you know, but they're proud of what they do.
Usually the people that should be on that level, because you know,
these are people that work hard and do it themselves, and
right.
And they're really, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And you know, so that's how it came about for us.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than Netflix, $4.99.
Yeah, it is.
It shows the evolution, you know, because originally, this is before I came along, The Realm was a DVD series, and then the local, we were PBS. We were on PBS for a while.
I forgot all about to say PBS. We aired on PBS.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
One of the first paranormal groups on PBS.
Darren, do you know what PBS is?
Yep.
Oh, you have that there? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know PBS was like a national thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a national thing.
Yeah, I mean, ours was more of the local broadcast people, but we were put onto the national, you know, app thing.
Oh, that's cool.
That was actually how I saw you guys, because this is before I came along. I remember watching a few episodes on the local PBS affiliate, and I was like, that's cool. You know, here we are, fast forward, and then it goes to Video Space and Amazon Prime, and now we're home at Paraflix, and it's been, you a hell of a ride. I mean, these people, you see some of this content on there. It's support local paranormal, no matter if it's a team, a location, an organization, a paracon. Because people bust their ass day in, day out to make a really great product. And there's a lot going on in the paranormal world nowadays, and we choose to stay to the side because it's not our business, but it's kind of like support local businesses, support local paranormal. If you have a moment, like a page, watch a show.
Absolutely.
You never know what network you'll build. As far as your teamwork, and you can have a friend that does cool work in Wisconsin and then Pennsylvania, New York. It's good to have that friendship. And
Right.
I know we're getting ready to go back to the bash again this year, and then you see people. That's our our family reunion. You're seeing people you don't see but once a year.
It's one big family reunion.
It is, and it's one big family. No matter what anybody says, it is one giant. We're all sitting in the dark, talking to a wall, and occasionally a wall talks back.
Right.
Narrows down. And we're just one giant family.
That's gonna be my first speaking. I'm speaking at the event.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We are too. Which
about
is good.
podcasts and stuff. So
that's
I'm looking
sweet.
forward to it. Yeah.
There you go.
That's gonna be a fun time. It always is. We've been there since they started. The bash. So this will be our 6th year, I think.
Yeah.
Being at it.
Awesome.
So we love.
It's one of my most favorite events. Like I love going. I have a blast. So like I'm speaking at like 4:30 or 5:30 on Saturday, and I'm like, all right, I got to stay sober for this.
Well, maybe it'd be better because then you don't realize. Oh, okay, I'm just talking.
We're 5:30 on Friday. I think we're 5.
You just stay away from the tequila, and the clothes will stay on, right?
Oh, no, I don't like tequila. Whiskey.
Yeah,
whiskey.
Good old whiskey stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
so
and moonshine. Hopefully, it'll be some moonshine floating around.
I've got it.
Oh, I love it.
I actually ask a lot of the people. They come find me at the bash because I always bring like coolers of it.
Homemade.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's so good. Once it hits your lips.
Yes.
True.
Anyway, I digress. Sorry.
So what's been the most frightening location you've been to, and what made it so frightening?
Oh boy.
Keep you at the edge of your seat.
Frightening. I don't have, it's tough because I don't really look at them that way. I look at them as a challenge. I don't ever let them get to me. I know that if it came down to it, I would say probably St. Albans is probably the biggest challenge for us. I mean, I want to throw Mo Penn. That was creepy for a first time for Tana and I, because we worked Death Row out there, and Death Row is not like just some small little cell group. That thing was large. And if people left you and went somewhere else, you like they're by yourself. And I was like, okay, this is a little freaky. Normally in our, when we do our event stuff, it's like, we got people with us and we're all together. But there was a time when I was on that floor by myself, and I was like, okay.
So what are you calling it? What are you saying?
Missouri State Pen. You call it Mo Pen.
Learn something.
So
Missouri is, what is it? The 47 acres, the most bloodiest 47 acres, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Death Row, you just got to think alone. I mean, the prisons, how they were back then, for lesser crimes, the way people were treated, for stealing a loaf of bread or, doing stuff like that, should be the way they are. They should be like that now, because the crimes are so way worse. That's how prisons should be. But back then, stealing a loaf of bread and you're like, in solitary confinement.
Losing your hands.
Yeah.
But they got the Continental prison outside now that they just opened up like a year or two ago.
Oh, stop. I can't.
Where, in Missouri?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're more outside. They're just got uncovered. Okay. And it's kind of creepy. The cells are a lot smaller than they are inside.
Okay.
It's like a row of 10 or something like that.
where the death row is, like just being there and all that.
Uh-huh.
That's got to stick to the walls and
Yes. Yeah.
and you just walking in there, even if it's the seeds planted and you're like, I'm walking into death row, you're still walking into death row.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
people died in there. You know, people were killed. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel that no matter what.
Yeah.
You know,
How
was
different
pretty-
is that from Eastern Penitentiary?
Mhm.
I've only toured Eastern State. I've never investigated there.
It was fun.
Okay.
I think Brandy, you investigated, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was cool.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from me, and I
wow.
never investigated it, but I did do the day tour.
Okay.
And I did a
Sometimes you get a
VIP
lot during the day.
park tour or something like that one time, but it's an amazing place.
I think they did away with the paranormal investigations,
They
didn't
did. Yeah,
I
the
think they did, yeah.
architecture in itself in the building is just amazing.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's beautiful.
And they got Al Capone's. I call it a suite. You got Al Capone's suite there.
And where's Al
definitely
Capone
a
from? Al Capone's from Wisconsin.
He had a
There you go.
house in Perry Hill, right
Yeah.
down the street. Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing now how some of these criminals are all from Wisconsin and end up somewhere else.
There you go.
So,
Are Lyle or Brandon sensitive?
Where am I pointing at? That dude is. To an extent.
I don't believe it. I mean, I don't really open myself to that much at all. I leave that to Tana and Missy. You know, but I can say I've got a little bit, I guess. I don't like to advertise that, but no, it's just I don't. When I go in, because really, Brandon and I, a lot of times we have a job to do, and I can't deal with that and film at the same time and do all that. Now, believe it or not, we do. You know, as part of the filmings, you know, we investigate while we're filming, and we've done it with other groups too that we've filmed with. And if interesting things happen, a lot of times, you know, those camera guys, they stay out of the picture. You know, you're back and you just see the people in front of you. Well, not with our stuff. I mean, if you're filming with me and you carrying a camera and you got something going on, I'm on you.
Are the people filming paranormal investigators as well?
Yeah, because it's Brandon and I.
Oh, okay. So it's you guys that are doing the filming. Like people aren't following you around and filming it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're following other people, but a lot of times if something's happening, they'll focus on us, and then we'll start focusing and doing a lot. So that's what it makes it pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal a line from Chris Smith. I'm not a medium. I'm not even a large. I don't know. And I like to think I throw a blocker up when I go on a location because I had one bad experience in St. Albans and all the times I've gone there, and I let my guard down, and that was just a bad night and bad morning. And so it just goes to show, no matter how many times you're in a location, even if you consider it your home base, you love it there, it's your safe haven, always have your guard up, because you never know what may come through that veil and take your comfort for a weakness. And I learned the hard way. And so, but no,
that's good advice.
Yeah, not at all.
I can tell you the very first time that something happened to me in that way. We were actually we're doing a private residence, and we were there actually going over the findings with the lady of the home. And I just happened to be standing looking at my wife, another investigator, and the lady as they're talking together, because, you know, here's Tana, the sensitive, and the guy that was investigating. And as I'm standing there watching, I'm looking up the stairs behind me, and I saw somebody peek around the door. And then I saw somebody run across the floor thing, and I'm like, what's going on here? And my wife was like, what happened to you? You shut up. You were quiet. I didn't say a word, because it freaked the hell out of me. And I got out in the car, and when I got to the car, I told her, I said, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I said, I don't know what was happening, but I saw people up there behind me, up behind you guys, looking at me, running across the thing. And I was like, I've never had that happen before. And, and that's why it freaked me. And that's why a lot of times I put that down. I don't want to see it. Why? Here we're paranormal investigators, but that's just one thing that it still creeps me out. It's that. There's some people, I know Dennis is big into it, Dennis Eslock and stuff, the people in here. And, they can, I haven't trained myself to do that. And, I want my focus to be on my project, not on that stuff. So, but I give it to those people. I mean, I praise Dennis, I praise my wife and Missy and anybody that can do this. It's a gift. And I love that gift that I watch people when they work like that. And
absolutely.
So,
What do either of you or both of you have something that, like, you would say would be like the coolest thing that happened where you weren't investigating? So you weren't expecting it. So maybe you're on family vacation, or you were at the doctor's office, and something happened and just totally caught you off guard, not investigating.
That's a good question there. Wow.
Damn.
I saw something. You know what? And I'll just relate mine to being right here in this house, my house, and just normal routine, sitting here watching TV, and just saw this big black shadow thing go right across from the TV over towards where Tana was. And I said, "Did you see that?" She's like, "What?" It's like, so no, seeing things in here, basically. That's something that catches me off guard. So yeah, when I'm not investigating, it's here that catches me off guard. So,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you are the most.
Yeah.
Probably when that first encounter when I was 10 that I talked about in the first part of the show was there for a bowling trip. I ended up seeing a little boy, and that kid is burned into my brain. So I didn't win the tournament, but I won something. So, it's the little bastard's with me.
But
20 years later.
Did you realize what it was that you saw?
All I knew was there was a kid in funny looking clothing, and I've always been a Three Stooges fan since I was a kid. And he had a bowl haircut like Mo from the Three Stooges, puffy sleeves, and black overalls.
Like, what was your thought process after that? Did you realize
that kid is dressed really funny? Is he part of the? Is he's not part of us because we were just a bunch of 10-year-olds, and I don't know. I don't know how to process it. And 20 years later, I still don't know how to. 20 plus years later, I still don't know how to process it. So,
but now you understand what it is that you saw.
I have an idea, but I'm still chasing that. I'm still chasing that vision, that encounter. That was basically. I always like saying this. It's even though I've checked out of the hotel never checked out of me. More or less. That's kind of the vibe, the way to put it, in perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, I mean, it's curious because it was the same thing that happened with me. I was like 8 years old and I saw something, but I didn't know what I saw at the time, and I just kind of like it happened and I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like I never thought about it after that until I started getting into the paranormal, and then I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
that's what that was.
Well, I think you find more evidence when you're not looking for it.
Yeah,
and it's like Lyle. Their house is haunted AF because there's times I'm over there and I'm hearing like this loud popping sound. And I'm like you guys heard that, right? It's not just me. And we're all watching TV, and there's like a loud pop sound. I'm looking over, and they're still watching TV. Like,
Tana's
and it's to the point where it doesn't phase them anymore.
Yeah, Tana's like, we know you're over there.
Yeah, so they're like, all right, you can stop now. I'm like, but that was.
Are you one of those people that don't investigate your house, or you would investigate?
No. I mean, we kind of we've got some feelings. The fact that we've had some of our friends that come in and they've picked up on things and kind of give us a little bit of readings on stuff, and we think it's more family. Like Tana's father, we think pays a visit here every now and then. We think it's our puppy that we lost a few years ago.
Aw.
She was a big part of the house, and I still think she runs around here at times. Um, but I think it's just family. If we detect anything, then like Dennis, who's in the chat over here, he's done some work. He does a lot of remote work, and he's done some work for us. And so we've got good people we can trust to rely on helping us out if we need to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that. You need that
Oh,
because
yeah.
what if, right? Like
Yeah,
Brandon
you
said,
never know.
what if? You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I'm really bad at that. I have ADD really bad, so it's hard for me to shut my brain down and meditate or concentrate. Music is usually my thing to kind of get me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so hard for me to. So I'm so bad at it. And I was just saying this last night. Like, thankfully, nothing's happened. Knock on wood. And I've never ran into anybody mean or bad or negative. Knock on wood. And I said I'm either blissfully like I don't know that I have, and I have, but I don't know I have, or then I'm just blissfully ignorant and I've been lucky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
I've always said this: if you are in my house and you have enough energy to shut doors, to bang on walls, you have enough energy to move a damn mop. You have enough energy to do the dishes. If you're gonna stay here, you're gonna earn your keep.
right, yeah.
Right.
But it's gotten to the point now where it's like we have a few friends here that I think are family. I think it's her grandfather. I think it's my grandfather, my grandmother that are hanging around. But I've gotten into the habit now when we go do events and whatnot where I'll leave my equipment in the car first. I don't have a garage, unlike Mr. Lutz. So I leave my stuff in my trunk in my car for a couple of days just to let it kind of decompress. I don't have anything attached to any of my equipment, so we're gonna leave you in the trunk of my car for a few days, and then we'll bring you inside. We'll just see how things go.
Right. Now, to touch on that, with the next question, because it kind of goes into investigating. So how do you guys prepare for your investigations? And when you investigate, are you more of a, like, some teams are more EVP-esque of a team that's what they rely on, or are you more of experiences or experiments, or just a traditional paranormal investigating team when you go on investigations?
I think we've gotten more traditional. We started out with all the gadgets and use a lot. We still use some pieces of equipment. We use a vortex dome. We'll use a K2 every now and then. We're with the Wraith pods. We'll use those, but mainly we like to do EVP sessions. We do have some, like I have an old bell that I bring. Still hasn't been rung yet on investigations. We're trying some different techniques, some old things like touch lamps.
Yeah,
well, that's one we're going to start doing. Brandon's got some lights, touch lights, things like that. Awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna start testing that and doing more like EVP work, which we've done, kind of like hometown haunts. Really, we do a lot of EVP work. We did a lot in at St. Albans this last episode, and got some great results out of it. It's great to everybody loves seeing the lights come on, the pods and stuff like that, especially at events and things like that. So, but
I never thought about a touch lamp. That's brilliant. I think I'm going to steal your idea.
That's okay. That's what we share ideas for.
Because I don't get down, no disrespect to anybody watching or that does it. I don't think any less of you as an investigator, but I just can't get down with that flashlight thing.
We don't use a flashlight much.
Lamp makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Certain locations will do the flashlight game, like the Granger house we're going to in May is really big on the flashlight game, and they do really well with it. So some locations will respond to that type of investigating.
I know we like to use equipment that people have, our friends make. I know our buddy Josh Bender with Deadlight has made us some really cool stuff with our IR lighting. We have our new panel box that we've been using. He's making us a tripwire. Our buddy Dan that was in here, Supernatural Lost Adventures, he makes some really good REM pods we've used. We like showcasing our friends.
Yeah.
And their hard work on making. I know our buddy Ryan, who's a part of the Honda Knights crew, is going to start making REM pods and other meters and whatnot. So,
See, and if you have the platform to be able to do that, that's awesome.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I would do the same thing. You know,
it's about showcasing people that really, make a difference, and they really put a lot of heart and their soul into their product. And I know, like what Lyle said, kind of piggybacking on that. We've gone in many locations where we've demanded answers out of the location. Here's all this stuff. Talk to us. But I think now we're relying on, we just go in, sit down, and all right, where do you want us to go? Instead of let's just go here, 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 we go where the place leads us. And you see that a lot in our episodes here lately. It's like, let's see where the house wants us to go or where the mansion wants us to go, because I think it's to the point now where we've used all the equipment. What can we do without it? Because a lot of times, if you happen to stumble upon a haunted location, unless you're a diehard, you're not going to have a trunk full of equipment.
Right.
You're going to have every phone has a digital recorder built into it.
Absolutely.
Use it. And you see in this episode that a cell phone can capture an EVP using a standard recorder.
Great EVPs.
We had some great ones. And
oh my gosh.
You hear me make that comment. I make the comment in the episode. See, cell phones can capture EVPs.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, if you want to pay $600 for a recorder or $5,000 for a DR60, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to talk any negative to you, but you can download one onto your phone for
that
free.
Phone will do just as good. No doubt.
I use a Philips.
Those DR60s or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, sorry.
Like they're very hard for me to understand.
Hard to hear.
I have bionic hearing, so like I can hear, like I'm clairaudient, not all the time, but at least a couple of times an investigation I can hear them, and it gets caught on the recorder and stuff. So like even with when people edit their audio to make it louder or whatever, and sometimes it starts to sound a little electronic. That's harder for me to hear. I think because I can hear it normal when it gets altered or something like that. It's like a little harder for me to hear.
Sure.
I mean, would you prefer to have something like that, a DR60, or just?
Well, and I was going to say, I saw FPRI on here. I guess it depends on the location, because I know John Sullivan from FPRI. We were with him. Was it last year?
I think it was January of last year. Yeah,
January last year.
Yeah,
we heard some amazing EVPs on the DR60 that were
absolutely
clear responses. And I think it also depends on if the spirit really wants to be heard. It doesn't matter what you're using; you will hear it. I have just a little cheap Sony that I use, and it does great. And I've heard some. It's weird. I've heard recordings like on TikTok all the time of these really cheap recorders, but when the EVP comes through, it's clear.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, like,
that was cool. We were just at Shanley, and somebody had one, and this one you could hear clear. It was like all you hear is, oh, I don't need this shit, and you just hear foot stomps going out of the room, and I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I was recording with just a normal recorder.
Yeah.
And you hear nothing. And it was, you can clear as bell hear that. But sometimes, like most of the time, like that's the clearest I've ever heard anything on those things.
Yeah. It can be an expensive hobby. This is an expensive
hobby. Well, see what I'd like to do is on my YouTube channel, I put my EVP in a raw form, and I let people decipher what they hear and put it down in the comments. It's called EVP Sessions.
Yeah. Right. It's just a great idea. And when we do a lot of our project work, if there's certain little things in there, you think you always hear something, but I always leave it to the watchers. If they hear certain things and they pick up, I always wait to see if they're like little rabbits or something put in the stories, to see if people pick up on them or not. And then write back, hey, did you hear that?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I always point out the obvious.
Yeah.
But there are little things where if they're not quite clear enough to really, because you could always, every 10, 20 seconds, you could have an EVP thing if you thought you did.
Right.
So, but that kind of can slow down a process of of an episode. So I always leave little carrots in there for people to try to find.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because I know some of my people will write back, well, I think I heard this, and I was like, well, it wasn't quite clear enough, so I'm leaving it there. I'm not taking it out. I'm leaving it there. Let's see if anybody picks up on it.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
a good
just a
idea.
challenge.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
it's
idea.
challenge.
So, what's the best EVP you guys have caught that were on the subject?
God, this is okay. Let's see here.
It's digging back a little bit.
I love Olympuses, by the way. Just
I
saying.
know back in here, Dennis had mentioned something about Mount Eagle Farm. And I don't think that was an EVP though. I think that was on SB7. Gosh. I think what we just had, Brandon, you know, and Hometown Haunts was some of the best EVP stuff. I mean, and just loud.
I love that.
You know, basically coming back, you know, because you know, they started asking the question. You know, they popped up the name Mark and said, Mark, are you here? You know, I think I feel you. And he comes back and just clearly says, I'm here.
That's awesome.
And it was like, even though it wasn't like all like that clear, it was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like drawn out. But it was like, that was a good one. Everything we heard there was clear.
Yeah.
Good EVPs. But I think over the years, there's just been so many.
Yeah.
It's hard to
I
pinpoint
can only relate to the ones that are fresh in my mind right now.
Oh, I
know
get that.
the creepiest one. I think I did a TikTok video on it or something. I think I did. It was at Waverly Hills. It was me and my buddy Hoover. I was on a different team at the time. We rented out Waverly Hills, and it was on my little Sony. I thought it was time for us to rotate to the next part, but we had 5 minutes. So you hear me say, continue AVP session, electroshock therapy. And I put the recorder down, and it's like 10 seconds. And you hear like this loud moan that is loud, like, right inside the room that we didn't hear. And then 5 seconds later, there's like a female screaming.
Oh, wow.
And we heard that, but we didn't hear the first one. And what was creepy about it, it was inside the room with us. So that was pretty creepy. But I know one of the coolest disembodied voices was our episode at St. Albans when we were in alcohol recovery. Remember that?
God, that's correct. Yes,
that was clear as like we're talking right now.
That's awesome.
We were filming in alcohol recovery, and the local favorite there is Johnny Cash. They love Johnny Cash. They love Elvis, you know, because the rumor was that Johnny Cash was supposed to go there to dry out, and because it was away from everybody, it's in Virginia. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a good story. So there's all of us sitting in correct me if I'm wrong, Lau, but we were all sitting in a circle in alcohol recovery, and we played a little bit of Johnny Cash, and then we stopped it, and we just go, okay, did you like hearing that? And there's a adjoining hallway, and all of a sudden we hear, no, that loud. And the cool thing is you see all these cameras just shift the hallway.
And I mean, this was
awesome.
Yeah, this wasn't just EVP. This was that loud.
And everybody heard it.
Everybody heard it. And we all looked. It's like,
how do you explain that?
Yeah. How do you explain it? Because we
had
went looking.
2 movements: a bowel movement and the physical movement. I mean, it was creepy.
I mean, honestly, like that's why I love EVP. I mean, to me, I think, in my opinion, EVP is the hardest thing to disprove.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
I sit there and listen to mine in full. I don't care how many times I gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a cool one in this episode that I'm editing right now that's actually at the Octagon Mansion.
Cool.
So when you're in there and you're in the actual living room, you're going to see Lincoln's death mask on one of the tables in there.
Love me some
and Brandon actually looked over at the death mask and he says, "Can you tell me who the face mask is of that, or what president the name is of the face mask over there?" And right after he finished that, it comes back and goes, Lincoln.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's a cool little piece. That's a little nugget that's getting ready to come out in that.
There you go.
Just once.
One word, 2 syllables. Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln.
Awesome.
So it's pretty cool. But
it was one of the funniest ones. and since you mentioned Octagon,
Oh
at
God.
our last event there. All right, so we were just kind of playing around. It was before the event really started, or it was during the event, but we had free roam that night. And it was myself, Lynn, Ryan, and I think Jason was in there. I don't know if he was there or not. And Lynn put a recorder on top of the mantelpiece, and if you go inside the library at the mansion, you're gonna see the Reverend's desk and then a mantelpiece and then a big mirror. And I forget how the conversation went. We were talking about something, and then, well, is there somewhere for me to sit? Can I sit on somebody's lap? Because there's only 2 chairs in there. And then when Lynn played the recording back, you hear, nice ass.
That's awesome.
And it's clear as a bell. That's exactly what it says. So there's an ongoing joke between me and Lynn who has the nicer ass, because they never said who they were talking to.
Right.
So that's the ongoing joke at Octagon Mansion. So if you go in there in Octagon Mansion, if you could find out for me, I'd really appreciate that.
I would. I'm gonna walk around really tight pants on and see if I can one up you guys.
There's a lot of area in the Octagon Mansion, and you will have a blast there working.
I can't wait to go. I've actually been wanting to go for a really long time. So, like, what Brandon doesn't understand is, like, I'm a fan. I love his videos and I love everything he does. And so I do. That's how I know about Octagon Mansion, and that's how obviously I watch the Gettysburg stuff. But so it's been on my list to go.
We love really broadcasting the locations. I know for Lyle and myself, usually when we go to a location to do an event, we'll film a trailer for it, and because we want to advertise the location, because us being there or having special guests is always cool, but it's the location that makes you want to come back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You can see that with our B-roll, with Lyle. When Lyle puts the episode together, Lyle's the brainchild behind every episode we film, whether it's Hometown Haunts, if it's The Realm, if it's Afterlife Dimensions, which is another series we're filming. You can see how we really put the location first above everything else, because we're telling its story. And it's kind of like Indiana Jones meets paranormal investigating, because there's a mystery there that we're trying to solve, and we're giving a voice to somebody who doesn't know that they have one to use, more or less.
Good way to put it.
Absolutely.
So it's you see the passion, and that's one thing we're really busy with everything we do with the events and the filmings, but we have the same passion for everything we do. And you can really tell.
No, you can. And one of the biggest things is that, and you said it earlier, you said, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we don't get involved. You're so busy doing what you guys got to do, and you're not paying attention to all that.
Yeah.
And
try to stay out of all that.
Absolutely. It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. And the one thing I can tell a lot of content producers out there is don't forget humility in it. Don't make it so serious all the time. Keep the humor in it, show, because that humor helps to break up that tension a lot of times. And that's what it might just be a couple little one-liners between me and Brandon, which is, we just know how to play off of each other when
it's like lightsabers, but with cameras. It's the best way to put it. But it's the yin to the yang.
That's just the one thing that I can say that we love to do in ours, because I like seeing a little bit of humor in there, a little bit of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't make it so serious all the time.
Well, I mean,
sometimes you get the best stuff when you're joking around.
If you came in my house and all you were asking were about death questions, I'm like, get the hell out of here. But if you're going to come in and you're going to make me laugh, I'll talk to you.
I'll tell you, the Peaches, we went to, there's 8 of us, and 6 or 7 of us went to Hinsdale. And we are cackling hens. We're loud. We are laughing constantly. We're making fun of each other, and the whole time, like every time we were doing this is when we were getting stuff happening. Yeah. It was like they were loving the energy, like the you know what I mean? The joking around, or you're not paying attention to me. Hello,
You get what you put out.
Yep.
You really get what you put out.
For sure.
Absolutely. If I could say one thing about Hinsdale, is Mr. Daniel himself. I give a lot of praise to Daniel.
Absolutely.
Because we met Daniel at Pennhurst. I want to say it was 2015, 2016. one of the Paracon events that was there. And from that point on, Daniel kind of took the Twisted Realm under his realm, and he started promoting us, and he got us into Viddy space. He got us into those places, and I just praise him. I mean, he's such a great person, and
Absolutely.
you know.
Dan the man.
Aside from Gettysburg, Hinsdale is number one on my list.
It's a cool
I haven't
place.
been there. Brandon's been there. I have yet to be there. So
Yeah, we were there for the weekend, and it was amazing. I've had not just paranormal wise, but other experiences, and it was just amazing.
Mhm.
awesome.
So let's talk about your new show, Hometown Haunts, and how did that all come about, and who came up with the idea?
I think we all came up with it together because we were just thinking, what could we do that's different? You know, we love the paranormal. We've been filming paranormal for 10 plus years. What could we do that's a little different? And we thought, well, you see, you got Expedition Bigfoot. You got a lot of the Bigfoot shows out there. You've got each entity has its own separate area. So we're like, well, what if we tried to touch each area as paranormal investigators,
Mhm.
And we thought about it, and we were like, let's just try this. And the first thing was the Bigfoot episode, and from that, I think we were hooked after the Bigfoot episode thing. Once that happened, we saw how much fun it was and how well it worked. Then we were like, okay, let's go to the next. And now next, we're getting ready to do. Get into some legend work. And so we were on another show. We were just on another show, weren't we, Brandon? A couple nights ago. Did we do something? What were we on? Yes. I can't remember.
See, the days all run together now.
Yeah, they run together. But, we were talking about, oh shit. See, now I done lost my train of thought. That happens a lot. And age.
Welcome to my world.
But you tell them too, Brandon. You jump in there. What made you like to do this?
No, I mean, it's like there's this barrier between paranormal, cryptid, UFO, true crime. We're this proverbial sledgehammer tearing it down because it all falls under the same realm as unknown. And we've always thought you should really see more paranormal people at Bigfoot cons or more cryptid at paranormal cons because it's all in the search of something we can't explain. We can't explain UFOs. We can't explain cryptids, Jersey Devil, Mothman, Bigfoot. We can't explain that. We can't explain the paranormal field. We're all running on theories of what it may be. And I remember it may have been right before we did the Bigfoot one. It's like we were at imagine the Godfather, and it's like the conference. That's Lyle's kitchen table because we'll sit there, we'll just have a drink, and we'll talk about things, and like our little meetings as the mafia. And we're like, we need to do something where we can incorporate everything because we've been to locations that have elementals. You look at Hinsdale, you look at Henricus Historical Park here in our neck of the woods that have claims of elementals. Well, if there's claims of creatures in the woods, these haunted locations, why not go after it? Why ignore it? Why not try to explain that one as well?
Mm-hmm.
And the floodgates kind of open. We're like, we can do UFO. We can do Bigfoot. We can still do paranormal, but do a different aspect of the paranormal. Don't go in there with a broad spectrum. Go in there with talking about, well, let's find this one spirit, try to find their story. And that's what's cool about this last episode is it's true crime, it's a mystery, it's folklore, it's urban legend, and it's all paranormal. You have 5 things in one episode. And like I said, we want to tear down that wall where each thing is its own thing. No, it's not. It's all together. It's one giant thing.
Yeah.
And we did that at the last Bigfoot thing. It was back in October, and the local guy, we're starting to work with him as a part of his Bigfoot conference, and but he did a small little thing in October, and Brandon and I were just going in. He said, "Why don't y'all come up and just tell a little bit about hometown haunts, because the episode hadn't aired just yet for the Bigfoot thing yet."
Yep.
And the previous person that was talking, and everybody was starting to get up and walk away while he was still talking, and then all of a sudden it ended, and then he said, "Hey, these are Lyle and Brandon. They're paranormal investigators, and I filmed with them on a nice Bigfoot hunt and stuff like that. These people that were walking away turned around and started walking back, started coming back, and then
cool.
the place it was really cool to see them want to hear what we had to say about it, and
That's
so
awesome.
we've incorporated ourselves now into the Bigfoot community here in Virginia, and you
So
know,
now
because
you're mainly doing both the paranormal. Well, I think it's
Well-
all under the same umbrella. But are you doing, for lack of a better description, I'll say ghosts and Bigfoot?
yes, yeah.
So yeah, because I was gonna say, like, for me, I feel like I haven't experienced anything else because I'm not putting myself in those
Right.
situations or in those investigations. It's like only ghosties,
Right,
if you will.
of course. And, well, with Expedition Bigfoot, the way their last season ended, or their last season they had, I was trying to learn a little bit about what this was all about, watching how they do this, before we go to take ourselves to the woods. And it was funny to watch how they started incorporating paranormal stuff into their episodes, shadow figures, lights, things like that. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm interested in right here. There's got to be a reason why nobody has captured the thing, or can really get a clear picture of the thing standing right there in front of them. There's a reason to it, and that's why I think it all ties into this somehow. Just my thoughts, but
Or how is there no Bigfoot in the UK? But there's definitely
yes.
stuff.
Look at
But
that.
you have stuff we don't have. You have 1,000-year-old castles and stuff.
Tunnels and
Every
things
place
like
has
that.
something different. It's like we love. I know Lyle and I. Lyle's big thing is Ireland. Mine is the UK and Ireland. But you guys have medieval history that we can only dream
my
about.
Lord.
So we'll gladly trade you Bigfoot for some of your medieval history and castles.
Oh yeah,
Night.
just to get in there, just to get into one of those.
What's up, Bob?
See, I think Bigfoot to me is just another form of an alien. It's
There you
because
go.
it's is so lightning fast and
There you
so
go.
strong, and
But if you have all that, and Bigfoot, if we believe it, theorize, is in the paranormal umbrella, why wouldn't he be in the UK?
Yeah, that's a good.
Kind of makes
good
you
thought.
wonder, if they're part of the whole extraterrestrial thing, who's to say they can't just pop up here and
Unless
over
maybe they look different there. I don't know. I mean,
I've seen videos where they have like a gateway in the clouds. It's like a big rectangular space.
Yeah.
And it's like they like he goes up there and he vanishes and he come back, and then it's like, but he's lightning fast, like nobody can catch him.
What's always interested me is like this.
Hey, Jeff.
This is a cell phone, but this records 8K. Point and shoot cameras shoot 4K footage, but yet now I know the shakiness from seeing something like that is I understand that, because you see something like if you're fangirling over something like, oh my god, and you can't keep the camera straight. But
I have a lot.
Why is a lot of stuff blurry?
Shut yourself.
Yeah. Why is a lot of stuff blurry? Why is a lot of it, out of focus? Does it admit its own kind of force field to the point where it knows it can stop you from capturing it? Same thing with paranormal. How many times have you gone to take a photo or use a recorder and your batteries are dead?
Right.
Or
a door opens and you're facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Or even just seeing something, having two cameras wrapped around your neck and being like, well, what am I seeing? And before you know it, it's gone and you didn't get any picture.
Same category. Or you go take a photo and it's all black. If it doesn't want to be seen, it's not going to be seen.
Right. I agree.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, Selma Mansion is a place that I love Selma, mainly because my good friend Bill Freeman was there all the time, but I love Selma. But I investigated Selma maybe 6 or 7 times before I had anything happen. So it goes back to, Brandon, what you were saying about the location.
Yeah.
The location kept bringing me back. For some reason, even though I was unsuccessful that many times, I didn't care. I didn't think about it.
Yep.
I was like, oh no, we're going to go to Selma. Awesome. And finally, now I'm like, when am I going back to Selma?
It really draws you. I know that's like us in St. Albans. It's like we leave and we're done, and then on the ride home, it's like, well, we're back here in July. That's not too long. We'll be back. You have to reassure yourself, we'll be back. You keep on going. You'll be fine. It's like if they like you, and for any location, if they like you, you'll come back. If they don't like you, you won't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
So it goes back
to the museum.
Yeah, it goes back to putting out what you want to get.
Which is why Gettysburg sees me at least once a month.
Okay.
Which is why I see myself at Lyle's house 5 times a week.
That's a lot.
So, Brandon, so you have the Haunted Files on TikTok. You want to talk about that a little bit?
It's just me telling ghost stories, and people like it.
Don't downplay it. There's some good videos.
It's nothing special.
It's an awesome thing.
It really is. They're
great.
They're not too long.
I will say this is like that spun out of our downtime after our events. If you ever come to one of our events, and we have a host hotel, and you'll usually find us at the breakfast area at 2:00 in the morning, having a few drinks and talking about all the cool experiences we just had, and we're telling ghost stories. And I'm like, let's just record 1 or 2 and call. I don't even know where Ghost Guy Files came from. It just came out of my mouth one day. That sounded terrible.
It was cool though, but you put them together well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
it's just to the point where and that goes to content creators. This is the best time to be a content creator because you have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have like Michelle. She the hell of a TikToker. Like I've learned a lot from her, and I'm a big fan of her work on TikTok and some of the funniest videos you will find, period, on TikTok. But it's a good time to be a creator because you can take these tools, no matter if it's good or bad, but you can create something that you can put out to the world. And it's just a good time to be a creator. And I know. But that spun out of just our downtime. I'm like, well, we're all telling ghost stories. Let's just put a few down, see if anybody wants to listen. And thank you to anybody that's tuned in or watched any of them. I'm grateful, but
interesting.
It's just a ghost story, and people,
but they're good. I heart them. I heart them because I love them. I think they're great.
I know.
I've watched you go from the beginning, where he started doing all of this on our hotel adventures. Yeah. Just basically funny little ones that he started doing, and the next thing he went into this, and this is really good. I'm proud of him for doing that. It's an awesome job.
It became a running joke. It's like, if you can't find me, I'm somewhere filming 4 or 5 TikToks. I'll put them in the drafts and I'll release them throughout a couple of days.
So there was like a small period of time where I wanted to not like Brandon, if I'm being honest.
There's a fan club for that, I'm pretty sure.
Because I was always loving his stuff and sharing it. I'm like, why isn't he saying hi to me? Why isn't he I'm his biggest fan, and he's like, and I'm like, and then but I couldn't stop watching because they were so good.
Well,
so I was like, I'm like,
it goes back to showcasing the location, and I think a lot of stories die, and you hate hearing that. You hate hearing a story die because nobody's telling it. And there's all these really cool locations out there, all these cool ghost stories, but what about the ones that you don't hear about? And I like to try to find those that you don't hear about very often. And I did one about Elvis, and everybody's like, well, how is he dead when he's still alive? And then you get the conversations going in the chat, and he's working at the Burger King down in Memphis and all that shit. And
sure,
it's kind of cool. But no, and that's another cool thing. And it's even with the Realm stuff and like Hometown Haunts, or if it's TikTok, you build a community where people can come, and it's like a safe haven, because people think taboo is paranormal. They don't want to talk about it. But if you come to one of our events, or if you watch any of the videos on TikTok or YouTube, whatever, it's a safe haven. And
Yeah.
I made that apparent a couple of times. I made one video where I had to delete and block 10 people because people were coming on and telling their side of the story. Well, that's really cool because I was at Graceland and I had a ghost experience, and like this is a safe haven. Talk about it. And same thing with Haunted Nights. If you have a cool experience, talk about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to judge you here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And who's to say anybody's wrong for
That's
whatever?
absolutely right.
I mean, whether or not I believe you or not, or whether or not I believe in it or not, I believe the person that's telling the story believes that they experienced whatever it was that they experienced, so you don't take that away.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of Haunted Nights, what is actual Haunted Nights? You want to talk about that?
Haunted Nights Paranormal Events was something that, of course, Brandon, myself, and Tana came up with the idea. We have a lot of people that would write us and want to go on investigations with us. Well, a lot of times, those investigations anymore are filmings. So it's kind of like a closed set thing. So you can't come and do that. So we thought, well, why don't we just start looking at this? And we put the idea together back in 2018. We tested the waters. We did our first one because Dennis helped us out. We put it together at Henricus Historical Park. We had Scott Porter and Stephanie Burke. God, Scott Burke. Jesus Christ.
That's funny.
Scott Porter and Stephanie. Yeah.
Give him a shirt. Scott Burke. Mrs. Scott Burke right here.
That's right.
There you go.
Scott Porter and Stephanie. We had them as our very first guests. And we kind of put it aside for about a year and a half. And then we said, people were like, well, when are we going to do this again? So we decided, well, let's see what we can do about getting this going. So it was the end of 2019. First event was scheduled for, I want to say it was April of 2020. So we all know what happened in March 2020 when big old COVID hit. So, so needless to say, we rescheduled our very first event, but then we started midsummer of 2020, and we've been going ever since. We had like 6 or 7 events that year. I know it was kind of tough because of COVID. 2021, kind of same way a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then we kicked into gear really fast again come May, June time frame, and had another one. And in 2022, we were slammed. So, but it's a great way for people to be able to come and enjoy investigating a location. We don't take over. We let people come in. We provide a good environment for them. And we're there to help them if they're new to this, we help provide guidance. We have a lot of repeat people that are investigators that come and just want to investigate. Mm-hmm. We put them in a group and say, hey, guys, these are great people to learn from, if you need to. So I think that's what helps us with Haunted Nights is the fact that we allow people to do their own type of investigating. Mm-hmm. And we don't control the atmosphere, where a lot of event companies sometimes they'll try to control it, or their investigators are the only ones, because we'll hear that from other people. Mm-hmm. And we're like, no, that's not what we want to do. We want you to have a good time. And right. So that's kind of where Haunted Nights came together. And of course, there was a question in here before about fan people.
Oh yeah, but Darren was asking Brandon. Yeah. Just so you know, Brandon, I did not like you for just like 5 seconds. It wasn't like really a long time. It was
there's still a fan club, and then I'm sure there's a line in the VIP section.
And then I loved you again. I was like, I can't. He's too good. I like his videos.
You can't.
So it didn't last long. I promise.
But we got with so we started doing work with Mike and Chris, the Wraith Chasers, and we did a couple events with them. And next thing you know, they're like, hey, would you guys come and work events with us? So we've started co-eventing with them. And, so yes, big fans of them, back in the day. Now we're working partners. It's like we're filming partners. So, that's about all I can say about that. But
here's the question. So who, not would, who what? Wait a minute. So
what you say is the biggest paranormal fanatic that they have met or investigated with and fangirled over, and why?
I'll tell you, the biggest paranormal fanatic that we've met, and it's our brother, who recently passed away, Glenn
Mhm.
Morgan.
Yeah.
We actually have these little stickers now we take with us everywhere we go. It says Glenn Morgan was here.
Yeah.
That's my
Aw.
brother. He passed away
Mhm.
from COVID. Was it 2 years ago? Give or
Yeah.
take a year ago.
Well, it was March last year. Was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
that dude, I can't even put into words. We did a live. We did an event at Belgrove Plantation in King George, Virginia, and we went live on Facebook at like 2:30 in the morning. Like nobody's gonna watch this shit. Next thing you know, boom, there's Glenn pops in, and he was a big fan of all the paranormal teams. He was the definition of para-unity. That man was a great guy, and we lost him unfortunately to COVID, but we know he's still around with us. He is. He follows us
yes.
from location to location, and
Yeah.
he's still there. So
Yeah.
I'm his biggest fan as far as
Yeah.
when it comes to we know.
Yeah.
He's our
Because-
friend on the other side that likes to look after us.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
But as far as fangirling, I mean, I fangirl over Dennis Eslock every day. You know, just every time I see Dennis Eslock on Facebook, I'm like, that's you son of a bitch. And I know Dennis better still be in here because he paid me $20 for that comment.
Yeah.
He better still be in here. Now, I'm a fan of anybody that gets
Yeah.
up and makes the attempt to do the paranormal, to make any kind of content. I'm a fan of yours because you're doing what you want to do, and if you can do it, and if you have the will to do it, then I'll be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
I think
I like
think
that
between
answer.
mine and Tana's was probably when we got to work with the Fear Crew, and the very first season, and it wasn't like we were put in a separate room and interviewed and never really got to see them. We were put on the spot. Let me tell you, we were brought in. We were given some food at a local restaurant where they were all meeting. And they said, okay, we're going to take you down to the train station, facade looking thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to have them come walking up to you. And then it's on. We've never met them. We didn't have any prep work. No, nothing for this. It was like when they came up to us, what you see on TV is like that. It was nothing. It was like that they asked a question. It was like, and we're looking, I'm like, really? Because I knew who, God, why can't I think of his name now? God almighty, Dakota. Watching, Ghost Adventures and seeing Dakota on there. I was like, so my biggest thing was just being able to meet them, but I never knew who the other crew was. I never knew Chelsea was his sister. I didn't know Tanner, didn't know any of those people. So it was a really cool experience to work with them in that type of situation where it was like one-on-one. Never first time talking to them was them coming up and meeting us at the thing, and it was all on camera. So
I have
prep
to
work.
say, like they really are awesome people.
They are.
I met them at Para-Unity last year, and I had one too many.
Imagine that. No, I'm just
They
kidding.
like to do that too.
And I had to tell them because I'm an honest person. I don't want to, and I said, I really don't like your show. I don't like the way you guys, I don't believe in that type of investigating. And we talked about it. I explained why. They were like, oh, I totally get that. And then they said, we actually were able to have an adult conversation about it. And then we were doing shots and drinking beers and laughing for the rest of the night. Like it was awesome to be able to talk to somebody and say, and that be okay.
That's a big thing nowadays. Like we can disagree.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having different point of views. As long as we can sit down and have a civil conversation about it. I don't care if you don't believe in the ghosts. I don't care if that's your prerogative. But as long as we can sit down and still be friends, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be on both sides. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be reciprocated on both sides. It can't just be, where you're open and you're like, oh, I get it. And the other person's like, well, F you, no, this is how it is. I mean, obviously that won't work. So you got to have the other person participate in the, so for them to be so down to earth and being like, and young, right?
Yes.
Young, and So I mean, they could have been dicks and told, so gave me the finger and said, "Screw
Yeah.
you, lady,"
Yeah.
But they were
Well,
great. And
No,
even though I don't watch their show, I think they're amazing people.
I
I
will
mean,
say,
I watched the show. I mean, that's just
Oh, I know a
me.
lot of people that do.
it's a good. Yeah, they're really down to earth. And I will say real quick, before you move on to the next one, is like I do want to give a shout out to like Lyle and Tana because I know who they were before I came on with Twisted, and I liked their approach at it. And I will say this, and I've said this numerous times, I would not be anywhere near where I am now without them. Because
No.
they gave me no, they really did, and he'll deny it, and he'll no, it's like no, you and Tana really gave me a chance to really do some really cool shit, and to think about where I was then and where we are now, as far as like all the places we've been to, all the cool stuff we've done, I'm like, shit, that's really cool. So you didn't pay me for this one, but I want to say thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. He's like our son, put it that way.
Oh
Tana
yes,
and I always
that
call
one.
him our son. So
well, it's either that bastard, that kid, hey you, but it's I'll take what I can get.
See, like I said, I mean, I like the show you guys did when I did, I reviewed the Realm back in 19,
Right,
I
you
want to
did.
say, and I love watching these guys. They're fun to how they go about stuff, and that's what it's about. And you can get that on TV and cross that over as you're doing in front of other people, not on TV. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Well, appreciate you watching it. Thank you for that support, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's just what I'd like to do is I like to promote teams as much as I possibly can because that's just sometimes people just don't get the recognition I think they do need. Or if they're a new team, hey, come see what these guys are about. You just never know.
It is.
Take the effort to watch, and that's the one thing. It's like even if you don't like the show, thank you for watching it and giving it a shot.
Absolutely. And all these people in their chat right here, I see a lot of familiar names like Lacey down here. We spent a lot of time last month, actually. We were all on a cruise together. So we had a great time on the cruise, and we made some good friends. Dennis Goad up in here comes to a lot of our events. Just great people. And we love their support and helping support these locations.
Absolutely. So what is TPS's top 5 bucket list?
I know Tana's not here. If Tana was here, she'd be saying Alcatraz would be number 1.
Ooh, yes.
Gosh. Me, I would think, for me, I've never been to Waverly. I'd like to try Waverly. Brandon, you finish. Keep going.
I have 2. I would love to go to Edinburgh, Scotland, and do Greyfriars Cemetery. I've always been fascinated with Edinburgh, Scotland. And the other is a local place. I would love to spend a weekend inside the Daniel Lady Farm in Gettysburg.
The place is cool.
That's one of my favorite spots that I've been to living history there. I've never had a chance to investigate it, but I would love that just for one weekend, just be stuck inside of there, with the crew or by myself, either or, and just experience that. And that's 2 of mine.
And I think the final one, I know Tana would say my spot would probably be Lemp Castle.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I'd like to go to. So, okay, it sounds like we've got a couple overseas and some here in the States soon.
Right.
I can't be in a plane for that long. Can't do it.
So, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I want to go to the UK so bad, and like UK, Ireland, Scotland, but to be in a plane for that long, my cabin fever would kick in right away. And
How long is it a flight to the UK?
Probably
about 8 hours.
Probably not as long as I'm envisioning it in my head,
right?
But long enough.
I think those flights I would make when I was part of the Army, when I go back and forth over to Germany, flying out of Dulles I think it was probably like 6 hours to London, something like that. So, but usually it's during the night, so you're supposed to be sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The red
but
eyes.
you would not get me sleeping. I cannot sleep on flights. It doesn't matter.
No, me neither. Unless I take some Xanax and because I'm a spaz when it comes to flying. So
That 2 hour flight to Florida was like long enough for me. So
Yeah. Well, somebody down there says 8 hours. So
wait, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
might
I'm
as well be 100.
flying to Barcelona in next May, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, oh my gosh, I can't. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, I don't know what I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
do.
investigate.
You're
When
gonna
I get off the
you're gonna be
plane.
doing this too. You're gonna be having
Oh,
a
yes,
drink.
I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Like I can't. I don't know what's gonna happen.
So here comes the fun questions here.
Awesome.
What you got?
So, what is the one object in the world that you would never want to be haunted?
My bathroom.
I can't believe how
Number
many
one.
people say that.
That's
Man.
number one.
I would
Well, that's
never.
number one.
That's my safe
Lyle?
haven.
That's crazy. I
I would
don't
never
know.
think that, and so many people say it.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer this one. The one object I would not want to be probably my remote control, maybe for my TV or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Some people say their phones
pillow.
or computers.
Yeah. So yeah, I got too much stuff on my computer. Do not mess with my computer.
I mean, like, I would say car because of Christine, but what if
Yes.
it's a
It's another one.
But what if
Mhm.
it's like a driver? I would
So-
be like, all right, I don't know.
So
I
on one of the
would
radio shows that I
control.
was on, I posted the question. They had Michelle Bellinger on, and I don't think she was really thinking, but she said butt plug.
I mean, if
No.
you had to have something not haunted, I mean, sure.
I mean, why
I'm
would
like,
you
sense.
holy-
want
That makes sense.
I mean, it's already a pain in the ass, so I guess you don't want it to be a permanent pain in the
I just thought it was funny. It was without hesitation. She just said that. Come on, everybody's
They
like,
usually say the most realist things are the first thing you say, and
"What?"
so we'll leave it at that.
Wow.
So the opposite. What would you want to be haunted?
Well, her answer could be true for both.
Well, this is for Brandon and Lyle.
I know who it's for. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow.
No, you're right though. You're right.
The dishes.
The dishes.
Yeah.
You like for them to get cleaned up themselves, huh?
Actually, the lawn. If I could
Yes.
have a ghost that would mow that damn lawn, I'd be golden. Golden.
So then you could say you want your lawnmower to be haunted
There you go.
Yes,
You can
I was gonna say
manifest
that.
all you want
in a
outside.
positive way.
I just envision now like middle finger crop circles now appearing in my front lawn and all that weird stuff. But you know what? If it's cut short, I don't care. That's fine.
Wow.
We're good.
See, I would like to have my car haunted,
That was another thought. Yeah.
so it just drives me everywhere I want to go.
Yeah, if it does, then you think about Christine. That would freak me out.
I'll be all right.
If it was Knight Rider, that'd be one thing.
Exactly, Night
It'd be like
Rider.
the Ecto one when they put a ticket on it and it just bursts into flames. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
It was the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Let's cut the damn lawn.
right. So, so this one has been a little tricky of a question, but what's the one
I was
object
just
in the
thinking
world?
same thing.
Huh?
What's
I was just thinking the same exact thing, Lacey.
My doppelganger to work from.
I was just
Good
thinking the same
thought,
thing.
Lacey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what if your doppelganger hates you and then you get fired?
But you're not supposed to see your doppelganger, because if you see your own doppelganger, it means.
But
you're
I'll
gonna
not
die.
see a paycheck in my account, so obviously something must have happened there.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah.
Right.
So, so what's the one object in the world that you would never want to hold?
So many avenues this can go down.
Mm-hmm.
What's one haunted object
that you never want to hold?
That's a good one. Anything from a natural, national, or catastrophe. Like if it's, I've always been drawn to Civil War and World War II, and I would love at some point to go just as a visit, no investigation whatsoever. That's disrespectful. I would love to go see Auschwitz or Dachau or somewhere like that. But I could not handle maybe touching anything involving that. So something like 9/11, the parts from 9/11, or anything involving a catastrophe, I probably would say no to.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thought there.
Agreed. Agreed.
I agree.
I agree.
Definitely. Good answer, Brandon. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a few of those good answers. Not many, but come on.
So this has been an awesome interview. So glad I got to get you guys on here, and we'll have to get you back on after a few more episodes of the show, and that we get
Thank
more
you
of it out.
so much.
And so with this awesome conversation that we had tonight, and everybody, thank you for joining us in the conversation, in the chat. The show this wouldn't be without you guys in the comments. It's for you. So what kind of message would you like to leave our folks in the comments section? Like, hey, I was just on this show, and this is what really stuck with me.
What really stuck with me is all the great people over here that are commenting and throwing in their ideas and stuff like that. I love seeing that, really. I mean, there are certain ones we've been on that you don't get a whole lot of response, man, but you guys have got it going. The crowd over here, you guys, we appreciate you guys asking great questions and getting to meet you. And look forward to meeting you in person. That's the main thing. Just doing
I'll be at the bash, so we'll have to.
Yeah,
are you going to be at
definitely.
the bash?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
remember,
one year I'll get out there.
I'm gonna have some moonshine. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I didn't know they still made that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So, but
Wow,
no, it
makes me good.
Definitely. But yeah, I always, thank you guys for putting on a great show and having a great following. You got such a great following.
Thank you guys for what you guys do for the community, because
Absolutely,
it is really refreshing, because it's not, it isn't and I'm going to say crap, and you know what the crap I'm talking about, but the people that are on the YouTubes and they're faking and doing all kinds of stuff, it isn't that. And it's refreshing to see real work being done.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And more great work.
Prayer Unity is not dead. It's right here.
No,
look, there's 4 investigators having a conversation.
Right.
It's not dead. It's alive.
Yeah, for sure.
Very much alive. It's just find the right people, and then it still keeps on going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Skippy.
So with that, thank you everybody for joining us tonight's episode. And remember, you're watching the Paranormal Brew and BB3 TV Network. Also on the MGS Paranormal YouTube channel, Midwest Ghost Seekers on Facebook, and BB3 Paranormal Brew on YouTube, and Dirtbus on Twitch. I got too many outlets.
That's okay. We know the feeling. We know that feeling.
Keep doing the work, bro. Keep doing the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep going, guys.
And
thank y'all so much.
You all get Paraflix. Watch these guys on Paraflix. It's an awesome time. Great network to watch. And so that's Taryn. That's Brandon. And that's Lyle. And I'm Darren. I bid you all adieu. So long, everybody.
Sayonara.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.